don't
helpful
enforce. Right.
Right.
Like in Canada, I can almost see, and this is maybe, and we're going to be live here in a second if we're not already, just so that, you know,
Yep.
I don't surprise you again. But like the trust in institutions and stuff is something that has been coming up for me a lot, right? Because it's the difference. Not the difference. One of the main differences between Canada and the U.S. is if you tell Canadians to please shelter in place, I'm gonna say 3 times more people will actually do it out of an abundance of caution and actual trust that still remains in the institutions and the experts.
Right.
Here, they're just gonna ignore it. Like, I don't know if you knew this, Greg, but we share this country with a bunch of fucking clowns. Like, just unbelievable morons.
Yes.
And you know, these are the same people that, like, you know, government, you know, get your goddamn government hands off my Medicare, right? Like that. Like, there's a correlation. I am very sad to report. So yeah, it's problematic, right? Like the you know, Rachel had Kinta Health on yesterday, which I thought was really good. Their data is extremely interesting, and of course shows Florida as the next hotspot. And you know, Michelle was telling me this morning, you know, they're getting the hospital ready to take 2,000 cases themselves, and she was saying that like it was a big thing, and I had to tell her, like, it's not a big thing. It's just not. There's maybe 10, 15 hospitals like that in Miami-Dade. You know, they might need 3, 4, 5 times that much. They're making their first field hospital here in Miami-Dade with 250 beds. They're going to need 100 times that.
Yeah.
Right? Like nobody is, well, not nobody. Again, you know, Greg and I were talking off air for those of you showing up. You know, there's some things, you know, some bright spots or whatever, and there is. But we feel like the wheels are coming off in Florida, and you know, it's because of the patchwork suggestions. It's because there hasn't been a statewide order. You know, some of the hospitals are doing everything that they can to get ready, and that's awesome. But there's a reason why Madrid is turning its you know, largest arena into a fucking field hospital that might be the biggest hospital when it's done in the world, right?
Right.
And Madrid is 15 days ahead of us. So, yeah, I mean, so I guess this is probably as good a time as anyone. I, you know, haven't really, you know, I've told a few close friends and stuff, but I'm having to leave Miami. Last year I had lung infection, pneumonia situation that lasted for a couple months.
Yeah, and you've had it twice in the last 3 years. Since I've known you, you've had 2 spells that were pretty bad.
Yeah. This last one, my O2 sats, like, we were sort of tracking it metabolically, and they were going down, which of course is the biggest issue that people are having with COVID. I was on inhalers and, you know, all sorts of stuff. A couple times Michelle almost brought me to the hospital because you know, I was going pale, and it was a huge fun. It was a huge fun, Greg. Anyway, so Michelle's been trying to convince me for a week and a half to get out of Miami because she's terrified of contracting it at the hospital and bringing it home to me, right, where there's a really good probability that you know, well, a really good possibility that I would be hospitalized, and a unfortunately large probability that it would just kill me, which is great. So when we saw that DeSantis wasn't going to do an order and that Trump was actually talking about just finishing this whole thing off in you know, in a week or two, you know, it's all going to be fine. Some of you who are watching probably noticed my reaction to that news was a little dark, and it's because that's when I realized that Michelle was right and I have to leave. Yeah. So I'm going to be going up to Michelle's parents. I'm not going to have a computer anymore, so we're going to have to figure out how to get me live on my phone, but I think we're going to be able to do that. But I'm going to be, you know, in a room at Michelle's parents' place. They don't leave the house either, which is good, until this is done. And we don't have really any good idea how long that's going to be done. And the biggest reason is that Florida's about to turn into a colossal shit show. And now, you know, I don't think there's anything that they can do to stop it. You know, I did a little post about having mayors do as much as they possibly can because, you know, the governor's not going to do anything. The feds aren't going to do anything.
Right.
And when they finally figure out turning around to doing full lockdowns, which they're going to do, right? Like that will happen. It will be far too late. And thousands of people will basically be sentenced to die that didn't have to.
You don't want to put a maybe on that?
No.
Yeah.
That's just fucking real.
Yeah.
Like and again, if I'm wrong, fucking, beat my brow with it for the rest of my life. I'm okay with that.
Right.
But here's the thing. There is literally no evidence to suggest that I'm wrong. And tons of evidence all around the world that proves that I'm right.
Yeah.
Right. Like the number of times that people have done full on lockdowns, you watch the curve get bent. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out how that happens. Right. If you suggest those things, the curve barely bends at all. Because this is, an infectious enough disease that it's just going to keep going, and it will. Right. Italy even lasted a long time because they didn't shut down their public transit. Right. And that was just essential people, but it was enough. And to the best of my knowledge, they weren't quarantining people away from their families. So that's why it kept spreading.
And I'm also, like the list of who is considered essential, varies from locale to locale. It's not standardized. It's not national. So you have retail stores that sell kitchen goods that are considering themselves essential and keeping their employees coming to work. The thing we learned yesterday about, we got to save the economy, and therefore 1% of our population maybe isn't too big a sacrifice for that. I'm like, okay, let's talk about which 1% then.
That is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like it and not in like a Corey's angry, let's use the word insane. It's actually sociopathically fucking mental.
Yep.
Right. Like this is, like 5 minutes away from like, well, why don't we just put all the Jews in the oven? Right. Like that's like we want to. And I saw your trolley problem and I like what somebody commented and made it a lot more succinct and accurate in the comments. But it, people don't react to nuance. I don't know if you've noticed this. So it worked out, right? Like, you pull the lever and you save a bunch of lives. You don't pull the lever and, the trolley company makes a little bit more money.
Yeah.
And way more people die.
Yep.
That's kind of where we're at.
I got a message that questioned whether Spain is turning the hockey rink or the ice rink into a morgue, not a hospital. They are building a big field hospital, but the ice rink mentioned.
Yeah, I didn't mention an ice rink. It was just a big arena that they're using. But yeah, they are turning an ice rink into a morgue because Boxer Cat. That's our friend Elizabeth. Marijuana stores equals essential in Colorado. It's hilarious and awesome unless you work in one. Yeah, they're keeping dispensaries open in Colorado and liquor stores because, I mean, that feels like it makes sense to me.
Oh, but, yeah, because you drink. Right, to me, that's fucking ridiculous.
Well, I mean, same thing for pod for me.
Yeah.
Now that said, I have to totally rescind what I just said because there's a hell of a lot bigger of a health
downside.
Well, no, like there's a credible case that that cannabis is really, really good for you.
Yeah, right? That's what I mean. Yeah.
Right. There is no credible case that alcohol is good for you that survived the 1800s. So, how I feel about that is entirely.
I share your view that the moment when we could have locked down and saved a lot of lives is I think it's past. I think at this point.
Well, no, Greg, absolutely not.
No.
Sorry.
Please let me finish my thought.
Yep.
Sorry. I think that we're going to be shocked at how bad it is right now. Right. And I think we could make it better by a big lockdown, but the patchwork nature of it, right? Like this is what unraveled yesterday is Jane Castor, the mayor of Tampa, announced that Thursday night they're going to go into a stay-at-home order. Okay. Yeah. She immediately got a letter from the county, the deciding board at the county level for this crisis that says, no, you can't shut down the city of Tampa without our approval. So how does that, you lock down Tampa, and it's not even really a lockdown. It's a stay-at-home order that isn't really going to be,
enforced.
Any kind of draconian enforcement.
Right.
So Temple Terrace is not part of Tampa. Right. Think about the 150,000 people that live in Temple Terrace or that, that the immediate outside of the city limits area that are not under any kind of lockdown. that are still going to be going to Tampa to do business. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know,
Yep.
It's a metropolitan island in a mostly, I want to say rural, but suburban, certainly county, right? All the way out to, to Brandon and the east end of the county. Like, there has to be more better coordination than that. I just,
yeah, I mean, it has to be a national order.
Incredibly
Not
frustrating.
Even, yeah,
right.
like that. This is the huge problem that we're going to have all over Florida, which is why the title of today's episode is "The Wheels Are Falling Off,"
Right.
Which is what you said, and you're right. I mean, that's the thing. Like what Castor's doing will make a difference, but yeah, I mean, it's the difference between a 90% lockdown, and it won't even be that well, right? And a 99% lockdown is like maybe 10x the number of dead people. That's how fucked up it is, right? It has to be total. And what they're going to find out when every single one of the hospitals is full up is that you have to do you have to completely and totally lock it down. Honestly, that's exactly what happened in Italy, and it's exactly what happened in Spain, right?
Yeah.
In northern Italy, they waited until Milan's hospitals were at complete and total capacity, and the doctors had been screaming at them for a week. And then they finally locked down the northern half of the country. And then they're like, wait a minute, people are still traveling. So they locked down the entire country. Right, and even then, right? And so now we're like 3 weeks past that, and their curve is just starting to come down. Until we see full-on enforced national lockdowns, we have not peaked yet. And we're not going to peak until 2 weeks after that.
Right.
And yeah, the number of dead people will be a measurable thing as an after-action report for how this could have gone. I mean, we could be South Korea right now.
Like, there were some things that blindsided me yesterday. Like, all of a sudden, Atlanta announced that all their hospitals are at capacity.
Atlanta already?
Yeah, we haven't been thinking about Atlanta. We've been hearing about Louisiana's rate. We've been hearing about New York and California and Washington here. But yeah, Atlanta announced yesterday that citywide their hospitals are at capacity. Michigan is approaching capacity. The whole state is approaching capacity right now, and it's only March 25th. Like, and we're not under any sort of lockdown, and many states aren't. I want to be optimistic. I want to be a person that points at the good things that are happening, and there are good things happening, but they're happening in the face of an overwhelming mountain of bad stuff that's coming our way. And I do worry about food supply. Food chain, supply chain interruption, particularly food at this point. We see this localized during a hurricane, but what's happening when you see an area go a little nuts on people stocking up is it's like, say, 5 counties or 10 counties in Florida. And while that's happening, right outside that zone, all of the big suppliers, the regional and national suppliers, are stacking trucks up outside the hurricane zone, ready to move stuff in the minute that emergency is over. And that emergency could last anywhere from 3 to 20 days. This is not that. This is a national stocking up of stuff, a national emergency that there really is there's no window in which we can say, oh, you know what, 2 weeks from now, this is all going to get better. It's just not. So that's concerning to me. But at the same time, things are happening. Like LeVar Burton is on Twitter yesterday saying, I'm trying to figure out a way to read stories to kids because that's what I always did on Reading Rainbow. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. And Neil Gaiman replies and says, everything I have is yours. Read whatever you want of mine on the air, free of charge. The musicians that showed up immediately to participate in this thing that I'm doing on Saturday, we're doing on Saturday, we immediately filled the bill. And there's plenty more people that want to get on and do a thing like that. Musicians are live streaming from their homes every day. Dave Eichenberger, in the piece that WUSF did about our little festival, he even said that. He said, maybe this is the new way, right? That musicians don't have to tour, that they can do live feeds from their home and monetize that. Maybe we begin to look at things a little differently now. I'm trying to look. My friend Corey taught me that when you're having a bad time mentally and emotionally, try and play out, what's the best possible thing that could happen. And the best possible thing that could happen here is we learn a lot of lessons about the requirement to detach, value from work in our economy. And we just pay people to exist because they're going to need to do that anyway in the coming, automation economy. Maybe we learned some important lessons about the leveraging power of having all of us under one healthcare system where we can demand that it's accountable for things like what's about to happen.
And coordinate. Yep.
Right. That the healthcare system provides enough thermometer covers, enough masks, enough things that they critically need in hospitals right now. That's a positive possible outcome. And art and culture too. Like I've already been asked by artists to do like an arts and crafts stay the fucking home festival, where artists can come on and talk about their work and put their PayPal information up and sell some stuff online.
Right.
So
like Sue and Dino, and yeah, there would be a lot of people that would be awesome for that.
Yep.
So
Prince Charles tested positive. Who cares?
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah. What a shame. Not that I think he's a bad person or anything. I'm just like, I'm more upset about Jackson Brown testing positive than I am about Prince Charles testing positive.
Yeah, I think like anything that makes
value.
Anything that makes it more real for people, I'm all for.
Yeah, I guess so. But it does tell you something about the what do I want to say? The non-discriminatory, feel of this. Like this is, if somebody in the royal family can get this, probably the most coddled, swaddled, bubble wrapped human beings on the planet can get this, then so can you. And I came around yesterday too, and I'm not, I don't want to talk personal details just yet, but we should all get used to the idea that someone we know is going to get incredibly, incredibly sick from this and maybe die. Peripherally, there are people I know who are devastated, who are losing people in their families from this. We have a big Equality Florida organizing group, and one of the people that I went to high school with, Todd Richardson, is part of that family of fundraisers for gay rights in Pinellas County, and they lost somebody very close to them yesterday. So it's beginning to hit home that people are getting sick and dying from this, and it's going to happen to someone we know, and soon. Happy fun show. Fun show.
Casey said, "Stop wearing rings, watches, and other jewelry viral particles collect on these items." I did not fucking know that. She also sent me a.
Oh man, I have to put away my thousands of dollars worth of costume jewelry now.
Yep. Casey sent me this as well, which is how to handle your groceries.
Nice. Okay.
So that's a whole thing. Yeah, I think once I get this trip done, I'm probably going to be a shut-in for at least 6 weeks. So that'll be fun. I mean, you guys won't notice, although my background's going to go away, which is sad. But I was working on being able to do Zoom because I have to leave my computer here. Michelle's going to be angling to work here as much as humanly possible, and I really hope that she, is like 4 days a week or whatever from here.
Right.
And she needs my computer, so that's going to hurt. I can't play Civilization or yeah.
You have to splurge and buy yourself a laptop or a
fucking
PlayStation,
something like that.
I have an Xbox 360 if you want it.
It's an
that's
older
okay. System, but
is that like my whole take is like, I've been like, I haven't been playing enough. I used to be a musician back in the day. If Shakespeare could write something, like I could just set a challenge to write like 30 shitty songs in 30 days or something. Like that. I think I'm sort of leaning into the change in pattern. Like as long as I can do this and happy hour, and I think with with my phone, which I can now plug this microphone into, which I'm super excited about. So the sound to be more or less the same.
Oh, she just posted about what Casey sent you was that it's a 12 to 13 minute video by a Michigan physician on how to properly bring your groceries into your home safely. That's something I don't think many of us had even thought of.
I started thinking about it. I haven't done anything about it. So I actually just sent that to Michelle's mom.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So, and yeah, Jean is Michelle's mom. She's totally getting it now. She's like, "Hey, do you mind if we like distance within the house for 14 days?" And I'm like, "No, that's why I'm showing up." And we don't know, we have no idea if I'm going to pick it up on the way back. We have no idea if they picked it up when they went to go get groceries 2 days ago. We don't fucking know until we know. So yeah, a huge fan of anything that seems like overreacting right now. In a week, it will look prescient.
Yep.
So that's fun.
Yeah. So what else is new in the world?
I don't know.
A stimulus package passed last night.
Yeah, I heard it was really, really good if you're already rich.
Yeah, I think it's. I saw this. I haven't read it. I don't know the details, but anybody that's already getting a government check doesn't get anything.
Yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. Thanks, appreciate that.
That shouldn't be surprising.
That's without thinking about the number of us that depend on food co-ops and food banks to supplement our.
This is the thing. That's why, like, if you, it's worth following Scott Santens on Twitter right now because his rage is palpable. Yeah. And really, he just has been saying, don't means test, don't do any of that shit. Send all of this to actual human beings. Do it right now. And of course, they are not.
Yeah. Very exciting. I got nothing this morning. I was out of the news cycle.
I was gonna check on that aid package, see if I can get some details.
Yeah, for perspective, you know, when the House came out with what I think was something like a $4 or $5 trillion package, is a $3.5 trillion package yesterday. People kind of lost their minds about the number. We spent over $4 trillion on Iraq and Afghanistan, and that's what's accounted for. That's what we know about.
It's probably way more.
Yeah. So yeah, and look at how the American people benefited from that expenditure.
Yeah. It's just so we can be clear, we did not.
Yeah, we were greeted as liberators.
Yeah,
obviously.
No. I mean, there was like one guy who was like, "Hey, thanks for showing up," but we probably accidentally killed his whole family with a drone.
Yeah,
man. I was talking to Ian yesterday, who's got to go driving around, and I was telling him about I got to go up to Pasco and stuff, and not super excited about that. And he went into this diatribe like, "Hey, that's probably a good idea," which was nice, right? Like, I honestly need to hear that. The idea that I'm leaving Michelle here alone for this is fucking really hard for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
So anyway, like, I know logically it's the right thing to do. Emotionally, I'm fucking not on board at all, which is a thing that happens. But he goes into this litany of like really, really bad news, and I had to stop him to say, "Dude, like, I love you right now for this one thing. You are the only person I've ever met who's worse at pep talks than me." Yeah, it was terrible.
I'm also not great at pep talks.
Ordinarily you are, but I think you are. Because I've known you for a long time. You're pretty good at pep talks, having been on the receiving end of more than one. This is just like when the meteor is actually coming, and it's coming, and 70% of the people around you are like, "What fucking meteor?" It's what's that pep talk look like? Right. Like, "Hey, we got an awesome music show on Saturday. Somebody get the deck chairs on the Titanic ready because the violinists are warming up," right? Like, that's all we
actually have a violinist.
Well, there you go.
Andrew Polo is going to come play an hour of music for us on Saturday. So that's good. Have you heard that kid?
He's really good.
His dad Jerry played guitar. I haven't heard from Jerry in a while, so I don't know. I don't think they're playing together anymore. They used to do a lot of Django Reinhardt jazz tunes, which is like, you show up somewhere at a local restaurant and a duo is knocking down Django Reinhardt tunes, like jazz trio tunes. Pretty freaking cool. Pretty cool. Okay, lots of comments. But businesses piss on workers, and they can drink that. Perfect, Jenny. Absolutely perfect.
See, apparently I come off as manic and panicky when I talk about virus. I mean,
who says that?
Who else would say that?
Dave Myers?
Of course, it's Dave Myers. But I think you sound more measured and serious because you have a better radio voice than me, and you never say numbers as often as I do. Numbers
ending, the sky is falling. Have a nice day.
Right. That's it. I feel better. I can English good also.
I word good. Sylvester, Casey, are you saying I have to scotch tape my eyebrows? That's the only safe way, Michael. And please take pictures and post them.
I was gonna say, without pictures, yes. it's not quite as effective. So that's a whole thing.
Let's see what else. I'm kind of scrolling down here. Deb, your mom is on day 5 of self quarantine after being in 4 airports and 8 hours in 3 planes. Boy,
yeah,
that scares me now. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm on day 5. Oh, I just read that one. Sorry. I have a couple of N95s. That's the face masks from construction projects. I wear one to the grocery store. Also nitrile gloves, hooded nylon jacket with a hood and hat. Everybody, I mean, I had my last in-person group with my clients last week on Wednesday night, and they all were like, they were looking at me like I was insane because I brought the Clorox, wipes in with me, and wiped off the table when we all sat down, and wiped it off again when we all got up, and they were like, "Are you that worried?" I said, "Are you not that worried? Because that's how we're all going to get sick, is because you're not worried. That's how that's going to happen." Yeah. When do I get my government coronavirus check? I'm going to need a new AR-15 and some speakers. Hey man, if the money gets pumped into the local economy, I don't give a shit what you spend it on. That's the whole idea behind UBI, is people are going to spend the money. They're going to keep the economy going. And that's the least important thing on our plate right now, is keeping the economy going. But, people do need to replace income. I'm very grateful. Somebody reached out to me late last night. I'm going to be doing a social media page management gig that's going to make me a couple $100 a month. Really important right now.
Good.
So that's cool. And it's using Page Manager. I was like, I actually know how to use that.
Right. This is a thing we've done before.
Yep. My husband used to play in a jazz combo that did Reinhardt and Tom Waits tunes. Nice. Yeah, Django Reinhardt was pretty big. He didn't have would he have 3 fingers on his right hand?
I don't even know.
You don't know who Django Reinhardt is? Oh,
no,
man,
no.
I'm so tempted to play a tune now because, yeah, amazing guitarist. Yeah, Greg is consciously selective of his word choice. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I am. I tend to fish for the right word. I got called eloquent yesterday by an actual journalist, which was
accurate.
Good. Yeah. It's nice to be told that, though. I'm going to throw a link in here, by the way. This morning on WUSF, there is a piece airing. There's at least one. I think there's actually 2 different cuts of information about the Stay the Heck Home Music Festival that we're going to put on Saturday. There you go. That's the link to the WUSF news story. I did a 9-minute interview, and I know that Dave and Julie did at least a 12-minute interview, and the piece is 1.5 minutes long. So I got one quote in there, one line in the short piece about it, but it's going to get covered on WUSF. It's on the Florida NPR Newswire, so it's possible that other stations from around the state could cover it. That's pretty cool. And we want to thank our friend Daylina Miller from the WUSF Health News department for jumping right on that and reaching out and making sure that we got some publicity for what we're doing. She was looking for a good news health story. Can you imagine being a health news reporter right now?
No.
Yeah, we're Daylina Miller is an accredited journalist and a Edward R. Murrow award-winning local journalist, and we're so grateful to have her in our awesome world, as we are with so many people that drop in on our little corner of Florida. Daylina grew up here. She's an awesome person, and I'm really grateful to her for covering the thing. So yeah, measured and serious plus manic and panicky is a nice balance. I don't know. I don't think of you as panicky.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm a little stressed out, but I'm a little salty about that, to be honest.
When you're telling people their house is on fire and they're not listening, it's frustrating, and it is put you into a faster, louder mode of speech.
Especially
get the fuck out of the house, it's on fire. It sounds like panic, but it isn't. It's
for 2 weeks, almost everybody I talked to was telling me I was crazy. That's a little annoying.
Yeah.
Now all your grandparents are going to die. Ha ha ha. Being right sucks.
Wow. Greg has the Walter Cronkite factor for sure. I can't begin to tell you how complimentary I find that.
I mean, it's pretty accurate.
Any way being compared to Walter Cronkite.
Yeah.
First of all, I never jumped out of an airplane into Normandy during the invasion.
I remember the first time you told me about that. I was like, he did fucking what?
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts.
He jumped in with the 82nd Airborne. He landed in a ditch. And he's, was in a ditch all night with 4 other paratroopers. And the whole time he was scribbling notes. Like, he wasn't armed. He just jumped out of a plane into the night in the invasion of Normandy on D-Day. And then walked all the way across Europe with whatever
like you do.
He was with.
Right. Yeah. How'd you get to Germany? One step at a time. Tom Hanks has another World War II movie coming out.
I got to see it. That's my grandfather's war. My
Oh, wow.
grandfather was a Navy gunner assigned to convoys,
Man,
and like the percentage of American servicemen that died, the highest percentage, of any branch was armed guard Navy gunners. They were trained by the Navy, and then they were assigned to those convoy ships. So you're on an oil tanker with
Yeah.
a 20 millimeter anti-aircraft cannon, and he was sunk 3 times during
Jesus
the
Christ.
course of the war from 41 to 45. Yeah. And he used to say he was assigned to 4 ships and 3 of them were sunk, so he was a ship ahead at the end. That was his way of looking at that. One of them
Awesome.
was in the North Atlantic. They were on their way to Archangel, Murmansk, way up, in the Arctic Circle on the north shore of Russia. And torpedo hit the front of the ship, and about 120 feet of the ship broke at the keel and rolled under. And they sealed the watertight doors, turned the ship around backwards, and stern first went the rest of the way at 4 knots all the way to Russia. But when that happens, the rest of the convoy, they sail on. They can't stop.
They can't stop.
So they were backing up at 4 knots all the way to Russia with everything loose, going clangety 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 clang, like a dinner bell.
What was it? What was it going?
Clangety clangety clangety. Think about all the noise which can be heard underwater by sonar for 100 miles. So they were basically ringing the dinner bell for other U-boats for, I don't know, 900 miles of cross ocean voyage.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. Great Greyhound. I think it's called Greyhound, which is the class of ships that were the escorts, the convoy escorts. So yeah, I got to see that one. Looks good.
Indeed.
Looks good. Michael Silvestri, but have you jumped out of a moving car? I have done that.
Too.
Yeah, but not nearly as dangerous as what Mr. Cronkite did. Put Tom Hanks in a World War II movie, and I'm in. Tom Hanks could be in a sci-fi war movie, and it'd be dope. Listen, Tom Hanks is awesome. Fat. I think he's the 100%. Actor of our generation. He's like the Jimmy Stewart of our generation. Yeah. Yeah. And his son Colin's no slouch either. I've been watching Mad Men, and I forgot that Colin Hanks is in that. He plays a priest in one of the characters' neighborhoods. He's pretty good. Will we ever be the same? No, I hope we're profoundly changed by this. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with we're not the same. There are things about America that we, and I think that's what you mean by we. I think there are lots of things we needed to change, and maybe this is our moment to actually affect change on some very important things. Yeah. So what do you got, Corey? What's going on?
Just looking. More stuff about DHS winding down pandemic models before the pandemic struck. I mean, it's all, lack of preparedness times 100. We've seen all that before a bunch of times. So, yeah, I mean, now, like, it's just waiting and don't fuck up.
Yeah. And keep yourself as safe as you can.
Yep.
Act as if you are already infected. Think about that in your daily travels. Who am I willing to go out and infect today? Because I think that's, if you don't fear for your own safety, be thinking about who you're exposing to this virus and what their vulnerabilities might be. And as someone who's had pneumonia a few times and has other issues, and Corey's in the same boat, would you want to make us sick? Would you want to make your mom sick? Right? And limit your contact. And it's really hard for me not to be at my mom's house this morning. Let me tell you. Sorry. It's coming home.
Boxer just said Britney Spears is in favor of a general strike, apparently.
Yeah. She retweeted somebody's post about sort of a general strike and uprising, people not show up to work.
After looking at this is the thing that I'm starting to understand about the reaction to UBI. The best thing you could do for people's ability to have a general strike is to have them have a UBI.
It'd be an enormous leverage tool for
this is why they're fighting it. right? This is why a $6 trillion or like $2 trillion right now, whatever, $2 trillion aid package is the vast majority of it is going to the owners, because what they really own is you, right? Like the last thing they want in their universe is for human beings to actually be valued, because that, they don't. Larry Kudlow's out. I mean, I know you guys all know this, but he's just the example. It's like, hey, if your grandparents have to die and the markets stay up, great.
That's the link, by the way. I just put the link up to the video that Casey shared with us about how to safely handle your groceries.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. The lieutenant governor of Texas, I'm sure a lot of grandparents are willing to die. Does it? Fuck you.
And honestly, it's not just old people.
No, it's not.
Like it's really not. Like,
it's not.
People in their 30s are going to be coughing up blood by the hundreds, if not thousands.
Yep.
Within 15 days.
Yep.
And again, I can't, excuse me for being panicky and manic, but all of this was solvable when it was small.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton would have had this fucking solved in January, because she would have probably doubled down on the pandemic response organization that Obama had, and probably would have noticed South Korea doing all of this stuff within minutes of finding out that this was happening. So somewhere between tens of thousands and 1 million American lives are directly going to stem from that lack of capacity and leadership.
Right. Jareen says, I've been wondering if this will all move us to a place where online stuff becomes more real. That was than it was before. I'm a transplant in my town. I already live more than an hour away from many friends in real life. This has been my experience for years now. Like, this is a very real social construct that we're in. And like, I didn't see the value of Twitter until the green revolution spring, the Arab Revolution spring, when people were setting up spoof IPs for people in those countries to be able to use the internet and get word out. This is how we do in the modern era. And I think you're right about that. I think we will move more to a digital social future. Boxer Cat, my sister-in-law was hospitalized with pneumonia. Talked the doctor into sending her home the next day and is home feeling worse. She went home voluntarily with her CV test pending. She's an idiot. Yep, I concur with your assessment. Maria Richards, I saw this morning that Tampa mayor wanted to shut down, but Hillsborough County officials are trying to override her. They did override her. And, legally, I'm not sure what the ground is, but she said, well, I'm going to do what I need to do to keep the people of Tampa safe. Yeah, I watched that unfold in real time. She made her announcement, and within minutes, they had sent her a letter that says you can't do that without our approval. And I think she's going to do it anyway. So Civil War II, Tampa, I don't know. What happens? What the hell? Are they going to have her arrested for shutting down the city of Tampa, the city that she's the mayor of? What the?
Wow. Yeah. I forgot I saw that. Thank you, Sylvester. 1.2 billion people on lockdown in India.
Yeah. The entire country.
Yeah. Because they know. I mean, they're,
Yeah. Jen says, America was built upon the concept of people owning other people. Not much has changed. That's a fact, Jack. That's a fact. Being made to feel bad or threatened with your livelihood by not showing up because you're worried about and legitimately worried about getting sick and costing your family 20 years of your work productivity. Yeah, that's not a good situation. I want to be careful not to compare that directly with slavery, but yeah, it's indentured servitude at the very least. Oh boy. Warren and Katie Porter could have solved it in 72 hours. Agreed.
Yeah, I can't argue with that at all.
Consequences of voting for someone who wants to toss the table over and doesn't value science or any of our systems or human beings, frankly. Link to Scott and Stanton's review of the aid package. Oh boy. Oof. So yeah, 732 deaths in 24 hours reported in Spain. And that's a bigger number than it was yesterday. I think it was 620 yesterday in Spain. So yeah, they're still on that accelerating curve. How does our curve look compared to Spain's?
Much more aggressive. And you can times that death toll by 10. That's what we'll be seeing in America inside of 10 to 15 days. Is like I've seen some people bringing up that whole H1N1 thing, where apparently 16,000 Americans died from that overall over I think a year and a half or something like that. We're gonna see that number a day before this is out. Every day.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So
Dave Myers, is this all too little, too late, or are we just spinning our wheels at this point against something that is unstoppable?
It's not unstoppable. I think Spain's probably a decent example, but Italy's the best example. When they finally figured it out, they slammed as much down as they possibly could, and it looks as if Italy has peaked. It's the difference between when the hospitals fill up and the governors maybe all start doing it themselves, and everybody's late to the party, but you get it down. I think you're still going to be able to change the death toll from 1.5 million to maybe 150,000. Like everything we can do until this is gone is worth doing.
Right.
But yeah, is it too late for humanity's sake compared to what we should have done? Of course it is. And but yeah. And this is the thing, like if we all go back to work, well, the hospitals are still overrun. People are still going to be sick. 150 million of them could be completely, totally homebound anyway. Right. Like it's not going to do what they think it's going to do. Right. The economy is still going to fucking tank.
Yeah. What are you making of the stories we're seeing that there's this like a second round of infections going on in Wuhan in China?
Experts predicted it.
Oh boy. So they even with all of that, they may have taken their opened their doors too soon.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, and we'll see. I want to see that somewhere else. But again, the gold standard to me seems to be South Korea, right? They still have new cases cropping up, but their testing is almost absolute. Like we need to get to that point so that a year from now, there still might not be a vaccine. It definitely won't be rolled out to 330 million people already, right? So like we're gonna have to figure out how to handle subsequent waves of this, and universal fast testing is gonna have to be a part of that, I think.
Okay. Well, the Dow is up slightly.
Yeah, I mean, 2 trillion, injected into corporations. I mean that,
Haven't updated the state numbers yet, just so you guys know where we are in the state of Florida as of 6 p.m. yesterday. 1,467 cases, 20 deaths. That's where we've been. Just so you guys get a sense of the severity of where things are, where Corey is down in Dade County, Miami, 367 cases, no deaths yet. 40 hospitalizations, no deaths is the official word as of yesterday. That's kind of remarkable to me.
It's early.
That shows a robust hospital system down there.
It also shows that they got sick a week ago.
Right.
It doesn't. I'm not sure that it shows anything yet. And again, like Miami has a huge amount of capacity, so early on, it should do.
But I mean,
exactly
as early
that.
as like a week ago, when DeSantis did his appearance at Jackson Memorial, they were already running out of swabs to run tests at Jackson Memorial, which is the largest hospital in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. It's certainly one of the oldest and best hospitals in the entire state medical system. And he was being sunshiny, and they were saying, no, we need shit. We need it now. Pasco County, 16 cases, 15 residents, 1 non-resident. The ages in our demographics in Pasco range from age 32 to 73 now. So there are young people contracting this. We've had 4 hospitalizations. I'm guessing that's wrong. I'm guessing that number is not accurate. Although, well, I don't want to speculate about that. But 5 of the cases are known to be not travel related, which means, as we've known for a week, we have community spread going on here. So, yeah, this is absolutely going to get worse before it gets better. I don't think we're close to peak. Do you? I think we're.
No.
Yeah.
No, with the way it's going right now, we're not going to be close to peak until like literally dozens of millions of Americans are sick.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot more.
As late as yesterday, I watched our president twice on national television say, I want our churches full on Easter. It'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
That's telling people to go to fucking church on Easter Sunday. And we already know that there are pastors all over America who are defying this because Jesus and or whatever God they worship, are encouraging people to ignore these things and go to church and make each other sick. Zephyr
That's
Hills
mass
Christian
murder
Academy
is what it is.
Zephyr Hills Christian Academy is reopening on Wednesday after much prayer. It says in their release, I read it. It's on their website. Optional for students, but not optional for staff. So that's maybe 20, 30 adults that are going to have to go to a school and work their daily lives.
Yeah, I mean,
incredibly irresponsible. And guess why? Because charter schools, private schools do not have to follow all the same guidelines as public schools. So they are immune to the closure of schools. They're not. They don't have to live by the same rules. And we send them money. We pay them tax money to open up and endanger children. That's the reality of where we are in this.
But
state.
I heard, their Christian calling kind of demanded it though. So
yeah, okay,
that's fun.
Yeah,
and again, if it was just them, Darwin's a bitch, but it's not.
Yeah. I saw the thing about the churches. That's pretty disgusting. Testing is still so bad. I know 2 people that have been turned down for tests. I think that like 50% of the country already has it. And that's total speculation based on just watching how people act. I think you're right. I think our infection rate here is higher than we might have suspected.
100%.
This is a funny thing that's coming up now. I in November and December, I had a really weird ill spell. I never had a fever, but I had a terrible upper respiratory thing going on where I had to sleep sitting up. I pulled some muscles in my chest, coughing, and Donna as well was also really sick. There's some speculation maybe this was here earlier. It wasn't the same thing. It was just it was a different thing. Okay,
yeah.
How would we know?
Genetic testing. Like it was nowhere near. It wasn't in America at all before.
Okay, all right.
I actually, because that my symptoms of what I had back, before, especially with starting with and please excuse me for this, but welcome to healthcare discussions. Starting with a bunch of days of diarrhea is almost exactly in line with what COVID is doing. So I was asking Michelle about that yesterday. So we had a long
clinical discussion.
Yeah. So that's why I'm answering that so definitively, because I asked the same question and I got a very definitive answer. So
okay. Lori James, my town in Colorado is shut down. Liquor stores allow 3 people in at a time. No dentists, no eye doctors, no retail stores except Walmart. Bars, cafes, all doing curb to go and delivery. I stay home. That needs to be statewide in every state. That needs to be a thing we are all doing right now. So I guess the best we can hope for is the people who are watching our show are voluntarily doing that and telling their neighbors, hey, stay the fuck home. It's important. It's not about you anymore. It's about, it's about your grandparents and your kids and your neighbors and your friends with immunocompromised systems and other health issues, because those folks are going to get triaged to the side and not use valuable resources on people that might live.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, they're not going to have a choice. The people in the hospital, they're calling for 30,000 more ventilators in New York State. I think they had 25 or 30,000. Like they're having to double capacity, and they're hoping that will be enough, and they're not even going to get that many.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's like it's a percentages game. If you put an 80-year-old on a ventilator, they've got like a 50-50 chance of coming out of it. If you put a 35-year-old on a ventilator, they've got a 90% chance of coming out of it. What do you do when there's only one ventilator, and they're going to have to make that choice over and over and over and over and over again?
That's what triage is.
Yep. It's dark shit.
Yep. In a war, the room where they put people, it's called expectant is the status, but basically expecting to die. So they are either going to live or die on their own. And those decisions have been made thousands and thousands and thousands of times in Italy and Spain, and we're headed there ourselves. Michael Silvestri, the Pope has canceled Easter services in Rome. Yeah, I guess Jesus just stays dead this year.
I saw that. That's good shit.
Oh boy. Yeah. Lori James says, yes, 3 men all in one nursing home. They've done testing on symptomatic people, but takes up to a week to get the results. Yeah. That's the thing. We are a community packed with packed is really an unfortunate, but accurate term, with adult living facilities and nursing homes here in Pasco County, Dade County, every county in Florida. This is where old people come to die. And they're extremely vulnerable. And we had at least one nursing home that was still letting in visitors as late as last weekend. Not cool. Not cool at all. I know that we have some friends that have been laid off from that system. People that are non-essential in nursing homes are getting laid off at this point. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Found myself agreeing with Matt Getz the other day. What a jacked up timeline.
That's peak fucked up land right there. That's what that is. Right. Yep. That's fun.
Yeah, we don't have an update on the Florida site yet. I don't know what else we got to talk about this morning. So you're headed this way after show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta do a little bit more packing and stuff, but then I'll be on the road.
The pupper staying with you or staying with Michelle? They coming up?
No, they have to come with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna end up getting drafted for 12-hour shifts. She's not gonna be able to. Yeah. Or shouldn't have to deal with the dogs. I mean, they would be fine, but with me. And her parents have like a fenced-in yard and shit like that. Right. So the dogs will be happy. Well, Brian, they got Brian in for his cancer treatment on the 1st.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Oh, up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep forgetting.
I was going to drive back up there. Like the people on Regency, it's the Regency Animal Hospital. I think it's actually on Congress. But they've been so good to him that I would have driven him up for 5 hours just to get him in there again.
Casey,
now we will just be there.
New coronavirus test is coming out. Got emergency approval with 45-minute results. That's an improvement. I hope they can distribute them quickly. That's
the thing. I think by the time they start, like in a couple of months, I think we might start seeing some decent shifts in the amount of testing to the point where we can actually start getting in front of things. They really need to start leaning on the Kinsa Health thing and do more checks on, because
like collecting thermometers. That's that deal,
right? They should be giving those away for free all over the country. And to Kinsa Health's credit, if you buy one from them now, they actually give one away.
Right.
So they're doing that. Mom just asked what the treatment is. Brian has cancer again, because of course he does. It's a small little spot, but it's cancer, so we're gonna just get it chopped out. Fucking cancer dog.
Brian is one of Corey's beloved mutts.
Yes,
he's a big mush.
He's a big mush.
He's a big attention whore.
That is a fact.
You cannot pet any other dog in Brian's presence without
also a fact.
A lap full of big dog.
Yeah, he's 115 pounds of. Please, can I sit in your lap? Oh, you don't want me to? I'm going to anyway.
Yeah, everything Corey owns is covered with Brian hair.
Yes. Can confirm.
You ride in his car with the windows down, and if it's warm out, you're gonna have dog hair stuck all over your face.
It's brutal. Yep. Yeah, I don't have AC in my truck.
Yeah, I love those guys.
They're good dudes. So yeah, I mean, and Brian went through this before. I think he had like 4 spots removed last time, and he's been more or less fine ever since. So, it'll be a thing. What kind of cancer? Skin cancer, I guess. I don't know.
I bet you Corey doesn't want to talk much more about this.
No, it is what it is. I mean, he's actually probably going to be okay, unlike the rest of Florida. So,
Oh, my goodness. Are dogs having their best life right now or what? Are all these people home all the time?
Yeah, like I get everything I want.
Cats are annoyed, but dogs are loving this.
Yeah, exactly, right? Why are all these 2-leggeds in my house?
My downstairs neighbors have a big orange tabby cat named Simba, who we all call Sketchy Cat. And, we don't have screens in our windows, and he can get on the roof and get into our kitchen window. Once in a while, he just jumps into our apartment and looks at me like, what are you doing in my apartment? He will literally stare at me like, what? The other night, actually, he couldn't get back up on the counter because he couldn't see it. You know how cats are funny. They'll jump up on a surface, but they have to be able to see what's up there.
Yep.
He couldn't get back up on the kitchen counter, so I had to open the door of the apartment, but that's behind me right here in the shot. And he had to actually come past me to get out the door. We had a really funny moment where he edged over and let me pet his head. It's the first time I've ever been able to pet Simba, and then he bolted out the door at 400 miles an hour. So, my cat visitor. Not as exciting as my snake visitor last year. We had a rat snake that came in and spent a couple of weeks in here. That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, Casey said sounds very treatable, Corey. Yeah, he had it before, and they treated it, and it went pretty well. So yeah, like it's lame, it sucks, but yeah, Brian will probably be okay.
Yep. Hey, Boxer Cat, she has a dachshund named Pandy. I think Pandy's a dachshund, right? You have more than one dog, but anyway, Pandy got to go for her first post-surgery run about the neighborhood the other day, and apparently did really well. So glad to hear Pandy's doing well. Yeah. Elizabeth's husband built a covered ladder or a covered ramp down their stairs to the yard, because when it snows in Colorado, it's hard for them to get up and down the stairs. And they strung lights inside. It's the most adorable video ever, watching their dogs go up and down off the porch in the snow as they run through their little tunnel down into the yard.
So I have to leave my computer at home, and this is like the worst I've felt about it. And really, like, as sacrifices go, it's not a big deal. Don't listen to a word I fucking say about that. Minecraft released a bunch of free educational edition stuff, like the International Space Station from Corielco. Motherfucker.
Nice.
No, yep, no Minecraft for me for a couple months.
I think you need to dip into your savings and buy yourself a laptop.
Just get a laptop, yeah.
I mean, yeah,
maybe.
I mean, I would consider that a critical survival appliance at this point.
Yeah, you might have something there. That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, so there we go. Hey, it's I want to take one more check here. I don't want to hang around to report more bad news. Nope, still haven't updated the state website. So we are where we are. It seemed like it's been about 100 cases a day increase in Florida.
That's going to go up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. All right. So Saturday, 5 to midnight, right here. Well, not right here. No, that's wrong. On the So Local Live Facebook page, we're going to have a concert, and Corey is going to play an hour of tunes at 5 o'clock to kick us off. After that, I have an opening on the bill I haven't filled yet, working on that because Jason Allen had to drop out. But then the Julie Black Band, the whole band, they've been, they all live sort of close together, and they're going to be on with us doing a live set. And if you've not seen the Julie Black Band, you're in for a treat. They're an amazing blues/fusion band. Dave Eichenberger is often in our comments, and his sister Jen Eichenberger also. You see her in our comments. Just an amazing local band. We're super, super lucky to have them. Julie is a Grammy-nominated songwriter, which most people don't know. We have one of those living in our town.
She's very good.
Yeah, she's an amazing songwriter. And they're going to do an hour. And we have, let's see, who else have I got here? Tim Cronin, local guitarist and singer. He's going to be doing some stuff online. Christopher Wright and Terrapin. Terrapin is an electronica artist, and he's actually one of those guys, Corey, that builds, old school 1970s patch panel synthesizers. So he's going to do an hour of electronica for us. Andrew Polo, young local violinist, is going to play. So we have some really great music lined up, and we're going to be raising money. They'll be able to put up their PayPal or Patreon account information and raise money for lost gig money. It's the only thing I could think of to do to help those folks. And if I could think of a way to help bartenders and servers, I'd be doing that right now as well. And maybe we'll find a way to do that. But in addition to that, we're raising money for 2 local charities that help our homeless and hungry. Some of you have donated to and supported Hands of the Goddess. That's Randy and Kira Withers. We're going to be raising money for them, and also for Messengers of Hope, the only Christian charity you're likely to ever see me bang the drum for, because they do direct service out in the woods with our homeless population every week. And the reason that I'm on board with them is when I had my first talk ever with Bob Gardner from Messengers. I was a little dubious about church-based charities. And he said he asks every volunteer that comes out with them, what do you think it would be like to get a hug from Jesus? And they tell him, oh, I'm sure it would be filled with love and kindness and peace. And he says, no, actually, Jesus was a Bronze Age man who didn't bathe regularly. So when you get your hug from the homeless people, you need to think of that as your hug from Jesus. They're going to smell bad. They may have infections. They may be sick. They may be unwell. They may be mentally imbalanced, but you need to show them the same love that Christ would show you. And I was like, this is a guy that I can get behind. His message is, he's like, he needs an anger translator like Luther from the Barack Obama bit.
I would be happy to do that for him, because he's a very soft-spoken dude.
Yep, he and his charity go out every weekend and they hand out bag lunches to homeless folks in our community because there are no food banks or pantries open on the weekend. And they realized that there were people that were going 2 full days without any way to get to food. So they take food to homeless folks. They also put out bins and boxes in poor neighborhoods so folks can come and get shoes. They do toy drives at Christmas and a big meal drive at Thanksgiving. Miko Grimes, husband Brent Grimes, played for the Buccaneers, helped them serve a community Thanksgiving dinner a couple of years when they lived up here in the Tampa Bay area. So the 2 charities we'll be supporting are out in the bush, liaising with homeless people, our homeless community every day. And that's why we support them. And we'll be raising money for them between sets. And I'm going to record an interview a little later today with Bob, and then another interview with Kira and Randy. So we'll show those interviews in between sets and we'll raise money for those fine charities. What I'm asking people to consider is if you're going to tune into the thing on Saturday and watch live music, think about when you go out to a bar to watch music, how much do you spend on food? How much do you spend on cover charge or, whatever else you do to go out for a night of music, and subtract what you're eating and drinking at home from that and donate that amount to one of the bands that's performing and, help replace a little bit of their lost revenue. It's nowhere near enough. These bands tend to make $100 a person when they perform out, more than that for many. And I don't think we're going to come close to raising that amount of money for them, but they'll be able to put their Patreon and PayPal up and you can support them with, $5, $10 tips for a request. I'm sure Corey's going to get requests, what's your price for playing Taylor Swift?
$20.
Really? You're cheap. I would have said 100.
Yeah, well, because I think Brandy was threatening she might do it. So I'll do it for $20. I'll play it a second time for $100.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you might get to hear.
Yeah, for the record, nobody wants to hear me do Taylor Swift, except they do. Nobody should. Let me put it that way.
Right.
All the and Jen's actually asking how they can donate to it if they want to donate to that collective now. We should figure out a way for them to do that. But yeah, all the money that I raised during my set is going to Dino to try and encourage him to stay the fuck home, because of all the people that I know and care about.
Whoops.
He's the one that I'm worried about the most, and he's done. Dino's the one I'm worried about more than just about anybody.
Well, there's an easy answer to Ginny's question. Is each of the bands is going to be able to put up their own PayPal and or Patreon or other information. They're going to send me the graphics and I'll have it up on the screen with them while they play. So you'll be donating directly to wherever they tell you to donate. We're not collecting any donations, from our end. We want to pass that right through to them. As far as the charities, they both have PayPal, so you'll be able to contribute directly to them. There is a jar on the front porch of the Hands of the Goddess headquarters, which we call the Glitter Dome, and you could always drop a check off there if you're local. They are using that money now to replace Food Co-op. This is the thing. They've been participating in a Florida Food Force co-op for families. $35 a month gets you a box of food every week, a couple of boxes of food, and I've been participating in that. Florida Food Force shut down, so they are not getting the food from Florida Food Force, and what they've been doing is actually shopping locally to replace that food so that those of us that are paid into the co-op get food throughout the month of March, and that's pretty cool. So they do lots of good work and are worth supporting. So that's how we're going to do that. Jen, only during the live thing. What you can do, I guess, is there is a page up. Let me pull up the Facebook page right now while I'm thinking of it, because all the acts are listed on the event, and you could find their information, I'm sure, and donate ahead of time if you wanted to do that.
We should just get everybody to put their links up on the page. Right? Like if people want to do it in advance, we should help them do that.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. I didn't think anybody was going to be.
I mean, they're trying to be too awesome. God damn it, Jen!
Yeah,
Jesus Christ!
Awesome people. All right, that's the event page right there, and it should have the list of all the acts. You can look them up. They're all on Facebook. Maybe send them a message and find out. But this is the thing. I think that this may be an ongoing project, but I got to tell you, 7 hours is a long live stream. It's a long time for me to ride herd on the whole thing. So it may be a couple of weeks before I'm able to pull another one off. So just that's what we're doing. We're going to try and do something good for folks that entertain us, often unappreciated in the corner by a giant TV playing a sports game behind them. In our local bars and restaurants, they get talked over like they're a jukebox, and we should do as much as we can for those folks because they're hurting right now. Some of our local musicians, that's their entire living. and you know, and they're not getting unemployment. They're not getting checks from the stimulus. So we're gonna do what we can. Okay. I think that's all I got, unless there's something else on your mind, Corey, that you want to cover before we roll on out of here.
Nope. I know I don't have to tell you guys, but just be super careful. And again, like because we kind of already, you know, because we've been dealing with this already, in, you know, as a little internet family for a little while. I'm really excited about the thing on Saturday, frankly. And I'm excited for us to kind of, and I'm sort of trying to do this myself. I just want to pivot to start figuring out what I can do that's going to be positive.
Right.
Because now, like, you know, I can't scream from the rooftops anymore. Because it's not going to do any fucking good anyway.
Yeah, Casey's telling me I need to set up my own tip jar. I have a PayPal account, and I'm not afraid to tell people what it is. If they want to send money, that's fine.
Yeah,
some people have sent me money this week, and I'm super grateful for that. It's not just me. You know, Laugh Track's not here right now. She's out doing stuff that she had to do this morning. But Donna has been in bad health for over a year. She had a bout with cancer, had a hysterectomy, is in the process of applying for Social Security disability. She has mobility issues. We live in a second floor apartment, and you know, my tiny income is our tiny income right now. You know, I'm going to stop because this is what happened the other day, and I'm humbled by people's willingness to help. But yeah, it's thin times. So I know I don't look like it's thin times, but it is. All right, there's a lot going on. We're back. Are you gonna? No, you'll be on the road. So if I'm gonna do the social hour this afternoon,
yeah. But yeah, my goal is to be fully functional as of tomorrow.
All right, real good. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to say today. I'm not going to do the social hour thing at 3. I'm going to take some time and rest. I've got about 3 hours worth of work to do for the festival on Saturday. And then I'm going to hit the couch until I have to do a group tonight. The good news is I don't have to leave home for work now. I can actually do my groups right here on Zoom chat.
I love that.
I'm going to focus on getting that stuff done, and then I'm going to rest for a few hours this afternoon. So we'll be back tomorrow, 3:00 though, with the social hour. We're going to bring that back and have some fun, right? We've got to start entertaining each other. Maybe if you're in the audience and you play music, you want to join us live and play a song on the social hour.
Do it.
Or juggle or paint a picture or show off your jewelry, Sue, or something like that. You know, let's use that hour for things like that. If people want to come on and hawk their wares. You know, Elizabeth has a site where she sells antiques and stuff.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Like everybody in our family that can do anything like that. We should just be totally doing it.
Yep, a viewer talent show.
Yeah.
I like it. And people that, yeah, that could be fun. So if there's something you want to join us and show off and maybe sell online, hawk your wares, we'll be ready for that. So that's tomorrow at 3:00, and then Friday, of course, back with another coffee show and the social hour in the afternoon. Sunday, Church of Reason, yes. Oh wait, you see, laptop. It's a requirement. We can't have a pastor in the Church of Reason that can't get to the Church of Reason. That's not acceptable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're close to. I mean, we've been spending double rent for the last 6. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that. You. I get it, but yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for Hashtag Coffee for today. That is Corey Cottrell. I am Greg Smithwick. It is always a pleasure to spend an hour or so with you. Hey, Laugh Track's home, and it looks like the angels have descended from on high.
And they did. Her name is Laugh Track.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We're back tomorrow with more stuff. Sasquatch is real.